One thing that I like to do when I need to just calm down or I want to think, completely separate myself from life and just take a breather, I like to turn off my phone and go sit on the pedestrian bridges in Detroit. There's a lot of them. And I like to just sit and listen to the vibration of the cars, the music, and it puts me in a perspective that there are hundreds and thousands of people in these cars that are driving under me. And within 5 minutes, it could be hundreds. Within 50 minutes, it could be thousands. And then it made me think, like, how long would I need to sit here to count a million cars or a million trucks, a million vehicles? And it opens my perspective to see that we all have moments in life that really just are minimized to these impactful moments. And someone in that car that's driving, they're so focused on the road, but their heart and their mind is distant because they may have an issue going on. We don't know, but we are all in this world just living and existing, surviving and thriving. And it made me expand my perspective. Ford and GM has a whole different reason for knowing how many cars pass down the assembly line. They're looking at how long it takes a million. Are they all up to code? Do they have everything? Do they have enough people? And then the people who make these supplies, those who make the nuts, the bolts, the tires, they have a whole different perspective to look at for a million things to come through their door. McDonald's, they serve millions of customers. They have to look at so many different things, and they realize that the smallest thing in your life is minimum and small. When you put it in the perspective of the world, it is so large. Even this phone, a million phones can be sold in just a couple of hours. But it could take days, weeks, and even a few years because they have to make 1,000 pieces to that phone. The button for the volume, the button to turn the ringer on and off, the lens for the cameras, the glass, the outer boxes. And it made me expand my perspective to see that I have a lot of stuff going on. True. It's really just one big thing. But someone else has a whole different perspective on their life based on what they're experiencing. But sitting there on that pedestrian bridge and seeing those cars go by and allowing my mind to just think, perspective changes my perspective. Whatever I have going on, I can solve. Truth be told, my problem is big in my life. But even the city, the state is responsible for making sure that this bridge stays safe. And how many bridges do they have to see? How many 1 million units of something do they have to count? Because it's not just my life that's in their hands. It's the life of the drivers, the city, the state, the councilman. All of these things can go awry just from one person switching the perspective of, I don't need to lay down the brick like it says per specifications. I'll just let it stand up here by the side. That small and limited perspective of just that person can really lead to catastrophic and disastrous situations and consequences. So putting it in that perspective, I'm not so upset, because even with me being upset and I'm sitting on this pedestrian bridge, I have some family members who may not know where I am. I have some people calling me and I'm not willing to answer my phone. And then sometimes I get up and climb the fence and I go and sit all the way down on the shoulder for the freeway and just watch the cars until a brick or something comes and it flies a little too close. Then I go back up. But even that perspective has me looking like, man, I am very significant in this situation. However, one choice, one action, one word, one smile, one growl, one grimace can change the perspective of so many people, even looking in the hospitals. Their perspective on looking at life is different because of what they deal with every day. So perspective is everything, because what you see is how you handle it. But we got to remember that even with that one perspective of mine, when putting into a proper perspective, it can help and impact many, many lives. So hearing the vroom of the engine, the throttle, even the planes, the birds, nature, it helps me put things into a perspective that allows me to be able to deal with what I'm dealing with. Because my one clap on the side of this mountain can create a whole avalanche that can change the perspective of so many people's lives. Just because I didn't take the time to at least count to 10 before I did it. Perspective. It can change anything and everything.